Hey there, nerds. Jimmy Palmquist here, and I have now seen Star Wars The Force Awakens twice, and thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, probably more so the second time. Such a great experience seeing it with other nerds. First time I saw it, other press, critics, reviewers, man, they are what they are, and they're not fanboys. So last night, opening night, saw with a whole bunch of fanboys and girls. Awesome, amazing experience, clapping at the right times, cheering, just a great energy in the theater. I will say I still have some questions that I don't understand, like Max von Sydow. I don't even remember his character's name, but I don't understand his importance. And he was killed right away. But he strikes me as somebody who was or is somebody. So I don't understand what that is. And that kind of bothers me. And maybe more will come out, comic books, whatever. But his comment about I still see her as royalty, all right. Obviously he's an old guy. He knows Alderaan. Maybe even knew her stepfather, Bail. I want to know more. The other one is Captain Phasma. Really underwhelmed with her use. Just great look, but for the most part was not really a part of the movie. And I'm wondering if she's got to be in the sequels, and I've read as much. She plays a much bigger role, which I hope so. But I'm wondering if it's an issue where, you know, she was playing straight and narrow, whatever, but now because of what happened, she will be a bigger badass, take no prisoners, heck, maybe even turn into a bounty hunter because she's the First Order doesn't want anything to do with her. So I don't know. Upon second viewing, other things I picked up that really kind of clarified my questions in the first viewing. The First Order, the remnants of the Empire. Okay, I get it. Interesting take. I get it. No problems there. Not exactly sure why the change, other than, okay, this government failed, so we're going to change the name and see if it does better. Okay. I also am very curious because, and these are things that we've been conditioned to learn over the last 30 plus years, is the Sith are the bad guys. They're the dark side. Well, apparently there are no more Sith. Okay. They're around for millions of years. Okay. Granted, the Jedi thought they were gone, wiped out, but they're around, so to just kind of learn that they're gone is quite shocking. Now, it may have to do with completely that Return of the Jedi, we saw the Emperor die, we saw Darth Vader die, they're gone. No more Sith. Okay. And now we have the Knights of Ren, which tap into the dark side. Okay. That's more of wrapping my brain trying to figure it out. I'm a big fan of the Sith and what the Sith stand for as far as being bad guys. So it's hard for me to just insert a new warrior class of bad guys. Now this might all lead to Snoke trying to train Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren taking on a persona of the Sith or changing his name to be more like his grandfather. Don't know. But it's a little just jarring to hear, yeah, the Sith are wiped out. Like, oh, well, what are you? Because we kind of thought you were a Sith. Love that it is explained right away from the get-go what's going on with Luke, and that they're trying to find him, and that he's basically been in hiding after this great tragedy. And to be honest, I know a lot of people who are commenting on the boards about, well, how could Kylo Ren have defeated him in a bunch of Jedi Academy without Luke knowing? And this is one of those things that in the extended universe that no longer exists, I believe it was the Kevin J. Anderson books, The Jedi Academy, where one of the students, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, one of his students did just that. Kind of went crazy and wiped out the other students. And Luke took it very personal and blamed himself. Now this takes it over and above what that was, but it's not, to me, unbelievable. Especially if it's his nephew who does it. He doesn't want to believe that that's possible. He doesn't want to believe that a family member can do that. So it's interesting to see that. And that was another thing that kind of bothered me. And I guess not, because he wouldn't know. He wasn't around. But when Han references to Kylo Ren, to Leia, that there's too much Vader in him. And it's interesting to me, if you think about it, Anakin wasn't really bad until Senator Palpatine manipulated him to be that way. And I know people hate the prequels, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, sure, Anakin had a dark side before he even met the Emperor. But it was really the Emperor who was pulling his strings to turn him to evil. And this is where the books do a much better job showing that manipulation and how Emperor got in his head and turned him against the Jedi, convincing him that the Jedi were the ones that were evil and the Sith were just trying to do what was right. And it's definitely the old Obi-Wan Kenobi from a certain point of view. And I kind of dig that with Kylo Ren, in that while talking to Rey and talking about how your friends are the bad ones, they're the evil ones, they're the murderers and the killers. So it's interesting that he sees it that way, and it's clearly Snoke manipulating the situation. I have no idea about Snoke. I have a feeling Snoke is not nearly as big as he comes off in the projections, the holo projections. I wouldn't even doubt it. He's Yoda size. There's a sneaking part of me that's wondering, God, is that like a super beat up Emperor? Like somehow he survived and that's him? Even going so far as using some of the extended universe saying that's a clone. I don't really think that, but it occurred to me as I'm watching it. Or is even more so. I mean, we have stories of Darth Plagueis. Is that him? The Emperor claimed to have killed him, but there was also the story of him being eternal. So I don't know. My guess is a whole new character. And this is one of the things that kind of sticks back in the back of my head, that kind of annoys me with some of this, is I know when J.J. Abrams signed on, he gets royalties for any new characters he creates. That's not a problem, because, cool, you want new characters in the story. But some of these, and Captain Phasma is the biggest example, some of these characters seem to have simply been created for no other reason than to make money. And to me, kind of annoying. Actually, it's very annoying, if that's true. And I'm not saying it's 100% true, it's there in the back of my head. So, again, this viewing, so much more awesome. Got to really connect and be there with the fans, which was great. I took my now 10-year-old son, and watching his excitement in the movie was phenomenal. It made me feel like a kid again. When the opening scroll came up, awesome. It felt weird. Not having the 20th Century Fox searchlights or even the Disney opening. So I'm not sure what that was about. It just felt odd. But really enjoyed the movie upon second viewing. Yes, there are some issues. There are some holes in the story. I still, like I brought up, don't understand Max von Sydow. Don't understand Captain Phasma. It's my belief, and I said this after the first screening, I think there's several factors pointing to Rey being Luke's daughter. And I think a lot of that has to do with the lightsaber calling to Rey, and obviously favoring Rey over Kylo Ren, even though Kylo Ren is his nephew. But more importantly, I think it's the sort of same exact scenario where baby Rey, or child Rey, is dropped off on a desert planet a la Tatooine, being Jakku, and being hidden from the world so that nobody would be able to find her. That's exactly what happened to Luke. So I really feel like that's where that's going. I know I've heard that a couple people, their first response was, I think that's Kylo Ren's twin sister. I'm like, yeah, I understand, because that's what the extended universe with Jason and Jaina went. But I really don't think that's the case, because the hug that Leia gave Rey there at the end was very touching. But to me, it wasn't something that was, you're my daughter. Could be construed, you're my niece. But I think it was more, you were very close to my husband, and he saw a lot of potential in you. So I really think it's his daughter, and I think that's why at the end of the movie, there's been a couple people that have said, well, why didn't Luke just grab the lightsaber out of her hand, meaning with the Force, and like, oh my gosh, not to strike her down or anything, just to have it end up in his hand. And my opinion is that he's not concerned about the lightsaber, he's seeing his daughter. Or, the other one I heard was that he doesn't want anything to do with that lightsaber, which is kind of true. It was his dad's, and he lost a hand, so that would suck. But I think it's more of he's in disbelief. He's just feeling a whole well of emotion from seeing his daughter after how many years. So like I said before, I can't wait to see more, read more, know more about this universe. I really hope they fill in the gaps between Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens. I want to know what happened to Wedge, for example. He's somewhere, gotta be somewhere. Great to see Admiral Akbar, but others like General Nadine. Just where Mon Mothma, where do these people go? What happened to them? And the fact that the Alliance and the Senate was easily destroyed. I mean, Coruscant was destroyed, and maybe that's the allusion to Alderaan, is we never saw Alderaan, yet it hits us here. It's like, oh yeah, Alderaan's gone. So they wanted to show something similar with a little more first perspective, but couldn't give you the screen time to do it, so they just blew up Coruscant and kind of showed the people on the planet. But yeah, it was interesting that they got rid of Coruscant so quickly, so easily. So I'm very curious where this is going to go. In my opinion, we still have General Hux. We still have, obviously, Snoke. We still have Kylo Ren. And we still have Captain Phasma going. And I don't know if it's going to be one of these situations where we're going to meet a whole new world, so to speak, where the First Order is a lot bigger than we think, and this was just one faction of it. Because we need somebody to fight this Rebel Alliance. We need the Rebel Alliance to fight somebody. So we'll see. Again, want more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I don't want to provide spoilers, but the movie's out, so I really want to talk about it. Let me know.